There's a saying in the village, a daughter's worth is measured by the price of her silence. That's what Amina had learned, long before her life was traded away. At just 19, Amina was a quiet, soft-spoken girl with wide, curious eyes and skin the color of polished mahogany. She spent her days tending to her mother's small garden and dreaming of a life beyond the dusty roads of her village. She had never known love, never even held a boy's hand. Her innocence was untouched, her heart unclaimed. That was until the day the black car arrived. The man who stepped out was sharply dressed, his sunglasses hiding eyes that never smiled. His name was Idris Kane, a billionaire known for his cold business deals and ruthless reputation. Nobody knew why he had come to such a small, forgotten place. But in the hush of the evening, words were exchanged, papers were signed, and a bride price was paid. Amina's fate was sealed without her consent. Amina's mother wept quietly as she packed her daughter's modest belongings. She couldn't look her in the eye. Amina didn't cry. She felt like a character in someone else's story, her life moving in scenes she hadn't written. The city was nothing like her village, towering glass buildings pierced the sky, and the air was thick with smoke and secrets. Amina was taken to a mansion perched high above the city, its gates heavy with iron and mystery. Inside, servants spoke in hushed voices and avoided Idris's gaze. The billionaire barely acknowledged Amina, treating her more like a business acquisition than a human being. Days turned to weeks. Amina remained untouched, left to wander the cavernous halls, her presence ghost-like. The wedding was set for the end of the month. No guests, no celebration, just a transaction made legal. But as the date approached, something changed. Idris became restless. He began watching her, not with affection, but with a strange, unreadable intensity. Amina overheard murmurs among the staff, about his past, about women who had disappeared, about a room no one was allowed to enter. One evening, Amina found herself standing at the door of that forbidden room. Her heart pounded as she reached for the handle. But before she could turn it, a voice, cold and sharp, called her name. It was Idris. He stood in the shadows, a glass of dark liquor in his hand. "Curious little thing, aren't you?" he murmured, his voice smooth like silk but laced with venom. "I'm sorry," Amina whispered, stepping back. But Idris only smiled, a slow, chilling curl of his lips. "You'll find out soon enough." Amina's skin prickled. In that moment she realized something terrifying. This wasn't just a cruel man. This was a predator. And she was prey. The morning of the wedding arrived with a suffocating stillness. The mansion, usually cold and quiet, now buzzed with eerie anticipation. No guests came. No music played. Just a gathering of unfamiliar men in dark suits, each carrying the weight of secrets in their hollow eyes. Amina sat alone in a dimly lit dressing room, draped in a white gown that felt like a shroud. The dress was beautiful, delicate lace, soft satin, but on her it felt like a cage. In the mirror, her reflection was almost unrecognizable. The innocent girl from the village was gone. In her place was a woman burdened with fear. A knock at the door broke the silence. It was Lami, a maid with kind eyes who had risked quiet warnings to Amina in hushed tones. Now she pressed a small, worn envelope into Amina's trembling hands. "You need to see this, before it's too late," Lami whispered before vanishing down the hall. Inside the envelope were old photographs, pictures of women dressed like brides standing beside Idris. All of them were young, frightened. And all of them gone. On the back of each photo was a date, and none of the marriages had lasted beyond a single day. Amina's breath caught. Her wedding day wasn't a beginning. It was a trap. Suddenly, everything Idris had done made sense. The isolation, the watching, the forbidden room. Panic surged through her. She had to escape. Heart pounding, she slipped out of the room, leaving the gown behind. The corridor stretched like a labyrinth, but instinct guided her. She made her way toward the old wing of the mansion, where Idris never ventured. There, behind a heavy wooden door, Amina found the room. Inside, it was worse than she'd feared, a collection of belongings. Jewelry, diaries, wedding veils, all from the missing brides. A wall of photographs displayed their faces, each marked with a date of death. It was a shrine to his cruelty. And then she heard him. "Amina." His voice was soft, almost tender. Idris stood at the doorway, a twisted calm in his expression. "Now you see," he said, stepping forward. But Amina was no longer the trembling girl he had purchased. Clutching one of the heavy brass candlesticks from the mantel, she raised it high. "I won't be another name on your wall," she hissed. Before he could react, she brought it down with every ounce of strength. Idris collapsed, blood blooming across the polished floor. Amina fled into the night. By dawn she was gone, leaving the mansion and its horrors behind. The city swallowed her up, but this time she chose her own path. Her story, once written by others, was now hers to tell. And somewhere in the depths of the mansion, Idris Kane's empire began to crumble, his sins no longer hidden. Amina had survived. And this time she was free.